So, welcome to the channel, and today we'll be starting with our day 3 on the AWS EC2 side. And here we will be discussing about how you can start your DevOps career, and you can start learning your AWS cloud. And the first service in the AWS we will be covering on the EC2 instances, correct? So, as you can see, the in corporate data centers, applications are deployed to the physical servers, correct? So, as you know that we have already talked about the on-prem data center, like the company had to purchase their the CPU, the memory, the other compute engines, correct? So they had to purchase and procure all those infrastructure which were required. So earlier the applications were deployed to the physical servers, but when the AWS cloud come into the picture, or any of the cloud come into the picture, uh, we go with the virtual servers, correct? So here we are talking about the AWS. So in the AWS, the virtual servers are called as EC2 instances, Elastic Compute Cloud, correct? So that's our EC2 instance, which is virtual server where you deploy your applications in the cloud. Then with your virtual server EC2 instances, you can attach a storage on the network storage to your EC2 instances, manage network connectivity for an EC2 instance. That simple means that for this particular EC2 instance, the virtual server, correct, you can manage that which kind of traffic can come to the server and which kind of traffic can go outside the server. Just suppose that you have to install some of the software on your EC2 instance, on your server, correct? You have to install Jenkins, you have to install Python, you have to install Git, correct? Any kind of software you have to install on your server. So for that, you will have to define some rules that how your server will interact to the internet and how it will download the softwares from the internet to your virtual server, correct? So this kind of facility, this kind of feature can be configured with the help of security groups in the EC2 instances. So it will manage the network, and in the while you progress into the security groups, like you do the more configuration, you can also control the which kind of traffic can come to your server, correct? Like you want to deploy your database in the server which cannot be accessed directly by the internet, correct? So you want that kind of server. So for that you can create your private EC2 instances. When we say the private, you can deploy it without internet, correct? So that complexity we will learn later on, but here just understand that this server will not have any access the from the internet side, correct? So that means internet cannot access to your virtual server, while the virtual server, the EC2 instance, can access the internet. So that kind of facility and the configuration you can create in your EC2 instances, correct? So that's the your fourth point. It manage network connectivity for an EC2 instance, correct? Then your fifth point is load balancing and auto scaling for multiple EC2 instances. So just suppose that you have 10 EC2 instances, correct? And on these 10 EC2 instances, your 10 microservices are running. Just suppose that your 10 microservices are running over there. So how will you distribute all these microservices traffic to these 10 servers, correct? For that, there is an option of doing the load balancing. You can create a load balancer. You can attach that load balancer to these target groups. The EC2 instances groups will be called as target groups. So based on their paths, like based on the microservice A, microservice B, microservice C, you can route all this traffic to the different servers, and they can serve the your business need, correct? Even you can do the auto scaling as well. Like when we were talking about the on-prem, we talked much about that when we were dealing with the on-prem, we had the complexity of like future prediction, correct? You had to always predict that how much traffic will be there, according to that how much infra you will have to procure in advance, correct? So that kind of issue got resolved here, and you started on using the auto scaling, which can increase the number of servers based on the increasing number of requests, based on the increase on the CPU utilization. So that feature you can adopt here. Then the same payment model was there, pay for what you use. So the moment you use your EC2 servers, you will be paying for that. The moment you terminate this EC2 server, you will not be paying for that. And there are some EC2 instance classes, the types: general purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, accelerated storage, correct? So these are the details about that, the type and the description, the method. So you can read more detail in this, like but Let's go with the T family. So in the general purpose, we do have this T2 micro, T3 medium, and all those SC2 instances, correct? So you can see on this. And in this particular video, we are just making it a short to start with that. And the more details about this SC2 instances, we'll be talking later on. So stay tuned for the next coming videos on the AWS tutorial. So till the time, thank you. Bye bye.
Hi everyone. So till now we have covered how to set up your free AWS account, and at the same time we have also covered that how you can start your cloud journey, correct? Like you can understand about that how the on-prem data center were working before and how cloud came into the picture, why cloud came into the picture, and what kind of challenges were there before, which on-prem was not able to solve, and your cloud came into the picture and it solved that particular problem, correct? Like it's solved the problem of your auto scaling, it solved the problem your problem of load balancing as well, and it also solved the problem of like how you can auto scale, correct? Auto scale the number of servers or scale down the number of servers, so it saved your cost, it saved your effort, it saved your future forecasting and everything, correct? So the cloud has the more features, and we have started that journey to learn about the cloud itself here. And particularly here we are talking about the AWS cloud. And this is your day four, sorry, day five towards the DevOps journey and learning the AWS cloud. So till now, we have in the last video we have talked about the Amazon EC2 instances, where we have talked how EC2 instances can be utilized as a virtual server. And on this virtual server, you can deploy your applications. You can use the property of load balancing. You can use the property of auto scaling as well, correct? And moving forward, we also talked about this. There are multiple type of EC2 instances, like there are general purpose, there are computer optimized, memory optimized, accelerated computing, storage optimized, and a few more, I think they are there. So talking about these particular EC2 instances, what are the features related with this? So general purpose, if you can see the description, it's good for a scale out workload supported by ARM. So it's a kind of architecture, that's the ARM architecture. And what is the type of this general purpose? It's a A1T family. When we get into the T family, that is called as T2 dot micro, T3 dot medium, T4 dot large, T5 dot X large, correct? So as you go with the different type of EC2 instances in the general purpose category only, but you will be getting the different kind of CPU and memory and the network associated with these different type of EC2 instances, correct? Let's suppose that if you have T2 dot micro, so it will have 1 GB of memory and one core of CPU. If you proceed further, just for the example, if you go with the T4.x large, so you might be having 8 GB of memory RAM, correct, and 8 core of CPU. So that kind of configurational changes happens with your number of servers in with the type of server, correct. Then let's get into the depth where we will be talking about the different EC2 instance types. And here, as you can see, the EC2 instance type, one is the general purpose. So what's the description of the general purpose and what's the usage of the general purpose, that we will see here. So the general purpose EC2 instances are great for a diversity of workloads such as web servers or the code repository. Just suppose that you have a code repo on your GitHub or the GitLab, wherever, correct? And within that source code, you have written one application code which can be run on any of the virtual server. So what you will do, you will just do on you will launch a EC2 instance of the general purpose, that can be your T2.micro as well, because you are just doing the demo kind of thing. So for that, you will do the git clone, and your application source code will be there on the virtual server. Then you can run the commands, like if you have the Python or the Java. So based on that configuration, based on the your technology, you can run the commands, and that application can be executed. You can install Docker, you can install Jenkins, any kind of software you can install on this virtual server, correct? So what does this general purpose EC2 instance does? It balance between the compute, memory, and networking. So it has the general purpose features, correct? It gives you the basic compute services, basic memory services, basic networking. So there is a balance between all these three, correct? We will be using T2.micro in our demos, so that will be sufficient for us. So we will be going with the T2.micro whenever we will be using this instances for the demo purpose. Moving further, The second EC2 instance type is compute optimized. So when we say the compute optimized, that means the computing power we have to check, correct? What kind of performance it can give this kind of servers. So it is great for compute intensive tasks that require high performance processor. And which kind of task can be processed with this kind of server? The media transcoding. Like if you have to do the real-time streaming, if you have to do conversion of some files, like you are getting MP4, you have to convert it into movie extension, you have to convert it into MP4, correct. So that kind of media transcoding can be done over here. High performance web server. So if you want to deploy any e-commerce application for which you want, that there should be a very low latency to your application, correct? So for that kind of purpose, you can use this compute optimized EC2 instances. The EC2 instance type it starts with the C, just like the in the T2.micro. If you can see in the general purpose, it starts with the T, while the compute optimized with C family. Then memory optimized stands for the R family. R, that means RAM, correct? C is for the compute, M is for the main, R is for RAM, X is for extreme. So every particular terms has some description, correct? So we talked about the compute optimized. Now moving forward, we will be also talking about the memory optimized. So what's the usage of memory optimization to instances? It is used for fast performance for workloads that process large data sets in memory. So it can be used for your Redis kind of databases, correct? Where you have the distributed web scale cache store application performing real-time processing of big unstructured data, correct? So the kind of you can think of live streaming of election results, correct? That is the data which is coming, and you have to just reflect it over the system. You have to just go with the telling the news or speaking out the news over the media, correct? So for that real-time processing of the data, you can use this memory optimization to instances, or you can use for the databases, non-relational database or relational databases. If you have to host your Postgres database, if you have to host your MySQL database or Oracle database, anyone. For that, you can use the memory optimized EC2 instances, which will serve your purpose of high performance with those kind of data processing. The name of the memory optimized EC2 instances starts with the R. Then moving forward, the next. So we have the storage optimized EC2 instances as well. What is the use case of this particular EC2 instance? It is used for great for storage intensive tasks that require high sequential read and write access to large data sets on local storage. What's the use cases? High frequency online transaction processing system, relational and NoSQL database, cache for memory in RAID databases that can be your Redis where we store the caches. What is the Redis? If you are not aware of, Redis is an open source in-memory data store that can be used as a database, cache, or message broker. Message broker, when we say that means you can use this Kafka, you can use this RabbitMQ, and that kind of services can be used for queuing, correct? And there you can utilize this Redis as well. It's often used for caching web pages and reducing the load on servers, correct? So whatever the web pages are there, if you have made a request for a web page, so that will be stored as a cache. And next time if you make the request for the same, or any user make the request for the same web page, it will not go to the server, rather than going to the server and asking from there, it will get it back from the cache itself, from the Redis itself, so that the load on the server side will be a little bit less. So name starts with L. That's the mostly storage optimized. We can verify from here as well. Storage optimized. Uh, sorry, I. I is for the IOPS, correct? So that's the term here. I stands for the IOPS. So storage optimization to instances names to start with the I, correct? Then moving forward, let's see few of the examples of EC2 instances. So one, one of the example is T2.micro. So T2.micro has one core of CPU, one GB of memory. Storage, it supports EBS, elastic block storage. Network performance, low to moderate, correct? It has the network, that kind of thing, low to moderate. Then the next EC2 instance is T2.x large. It has 4 core of CPU, 16 GB of memory, and it also supports ABS, but it has a little bit of good performance of the network, correct? So moderate kind of performance it does have. Then talking about the third instance, it's C5.x large. C5 that means compute optimized, correct? So these two are from the your general purpose instance type, and the third one is from the compute optimized. C5.x large have 4 core of CPU, 8 GB of memory, and storage is EBS only. That means it also supports your elastic block storage only. And the network performance, it's too high rather than the general purpose SH2 instances, correct? You can see up to 10 Gbps, it has the network performance, and EBS bandwidth 4750. So it can do the transfer of the data up to 4750 bytes, correct? Now, if you want to check for the more details about the EC2 instances, you can go up to this particular URL, https ec2instances.info, and it will show you the proper details of all the EC2 instances, correct? You can compare the multiple EC2 instances according to their configuration, the CPU, memory, and the bandwidth. So it will just show you the list of those EC2 instances, correct? So that you can utilize. And instance class of example. So what do you understand from T2.micro, correct? So you have seen here that this is T2.micro instances. So what are these terminology? T2.micro. So what are these terminologies? So for that, you will be understanding over here. T stands for instance class. That means we talked about the general purpose. So T stands for that instance class. 2 stands for the generation. Like if you purchase your system, correct, the laptop itself. So you go with i5, i7. So those kind of generation, which generation it has, the Intel generations, correct. Here also for the instances, 2 stands for the generation. AWS improves them over the time. Micro stands for size within the instance class. So what kind of sizes are there, correct? So 8 GPU, sorry, 8 GB of memory or the 2 GB of memory. So all those kind of things are handled through the micro. Similarly, for the T3 medium, C5 X large, and so on. So all these things stores your kind of you can say the C stands for your class, the compute engine class, sorry, compute optimized classes. 5 will stands for the generation, it's of fifth generation, and your X large will stands for the sizes like it's a 1 GB core, sorry, 1 GB of memory, 1 core of CPU, or 8 GB of memory, and 8 core of CPU. So all those configurations, the details comes from this T2.micro, C5.x large. So these are all the details in the second day part 2 of the EC2 instances and the class day 5. And here we have talked about the EC2 instances in the details. In the furthermore, we'll be talking about the elastic block storage and we will move forward. So for this particular video, watching this video, watch this and thank you so much. Let's meet in the next video.